the new one from the album Summer Lounge, Holiday Company, Pops All Stars.
ビッグマークのようなスケジュールブックいつもハードそんなあなたに深い指数を忘れたいならさあどうぞ我が社のフロンへ Everybody needs a free vacation くつろいだコミュニケーション私どものニューサジェスチョン船の旅へと Everybody needs a full vacation 安らぎのセレブレーション私どもの名前は Holiday Company 南十字星きらめく夜空簡単でバイキングしましょうタイタニックやポセイドン号にどこかで巡り会えるかな Everybody needs a free vacation くつろいだコミュニケーションダイヤとにらめっこの我が社のツアーへ Everybody needs a hard vacation 安らぎのセレブレーションお買い得なサマークーポン Holiday Companyガイドブックに載ってない旅お早くご予約をどうぞ Everybody needs a home vacation 安らぎのセレブレーションお買い得なサマークーポン Holiday Company
いらっしゃいませホリデーカンパニーへようこそブラブラ島コース南太平洋コース中産コースなど人気がございますがお友達同士それともご家族連れそれともやだー一緒にポテトもいかがですか
Everybody needs a free vacation くつろいだコミュニケーション私どものニューサジェスチョン船の旅へと Everybody needs a full vacation 安らぎのセレブレーション
You're watching Sleepcore. Pleasant dreams.
There's a world apart, a place in your heart. Can't you hear it calling you? Summer never ends at the amusement park, where summer dreams come true. You work hard to earn your place in the sun. No place on earth comes close to the fun. Cedar Point, move you. Get to the point. Get to the point. Cedar Point, move you. Get to the point.
Cedar Point, 364 acres of summertime fun located on a Lake Erie peninsula halfway between Cleveland and Toledo. Cedar Point's white sand beach, still a major attraction, was the first drawing card that brought visitors to Cedar Point more than 120 summers ago. The first bathhouse was built on the shore in 1870. In 1888, an enormous two-story grand pavilion was built near the beach. The park boasted that it provided shelter and shade for 10,000 people. Cedar Point's first roller coaster was built near the pavilion in 1892. Water swings and slides entertained bathers. The park grew slowly until the late 1890s, when an enterprising businessman, George Beckling, turned it into a major resort that came to be known as the Queen of American watering places. A massive coliseum hosted musical performances and some of the first motion pictures seen in Ohio. Pioneer aviator Glenn Curtis completed the longest overwater flight of his day at Cedar Point in 1910. The 1890s through the 1920s were the old Cedar Point's glory years. During this time, colorful steamships brought most of Cedar Point's guests to the park. Visitors who arrived in Sandusky by excursion train took one of the gigantic ferries that crossed the portion of the bay between the downtown docks and the Cedar Point Pier. Vacationers also began arriving by automobile after the road connecting Cedar Point to the mainland was built in 1914. Hundreds of college students were hired to staff the resort. Among them was Newt Rockney, future Notre Dame football coach, who perfected the forward pass while working as a lifeguard at Cedar Point during the summer of 1913. The 30s and 40s are memorable primarily for the musical talent that played at dances in the Coliseum Ballroom. Some of the performances were broadcast nationally on the NBC radio network. The roster included such musical stars as Woody Herman, Les Brown, Duke Ellington, Guy Lombardo, Harry James, Count Basie, and Skitch Henderson. In the late 1950s, Cedar Point was slated to be turned into a housing development. However, because of the public outcry over those plans, the developers decided there was enough interest to keep it open as an amusement park. So construction began on the modern Cedar Point. The owners studied the new theme park concepts being developed in California and combined some of those ideas with Cedar Point's long tradition of family entertainment. The result was a formula that's been winning millions of fans for more than 30 years. Today, Cedar Point is one of the most popular vacation destinations in the United States. Guests come from all over the country and even many foreign nations to sample its unequaled combination of rides and attractions. Cedar Point has more rides than anywhere else in the country. Our 9 roller coasters are the biggest coaster collection in the world. The Magnum XL 200 is inescapable. Even before you reach Cedar Point, it looms on the skyline. This roller coaster is the champ. The Magnum has been honored by the Guinness Book of World Records as having the longest, steepest, fastest drop. A 205-foot tall hill dropping you more than 194 feet at a 60-degree angle, generating speeds of 72 miles an hour. Among our other coasters is the Iron Dragon, the Midwest's only suspended roller coaster. The swinging motion and the fog surrounding the final tangle of track enhance the excitement of this unique ride. Racing adds to the coaster excitement of the Gemini. True to its name, the Gemini has twin trains that compete as they speed along its wooden hills. The Gemini is Cedar Point's most popular ride, with millions of guests speeding down its 125-foot tall first hill at 60 miles an hour every year. The granddaddy of Cedar Point's roller coasters is the Blue Streak. Built in 1964, this traditional wooden coaster may not be as big as some of Cedar Point's others, but its fast, hilly ride still has a lot of fans. These roller coasters are great, but that's not the end of the Cedar Point coaster collection.
Flight 224, my sensors indicate that you're located just outside of that.
Disaster Transport takes you on a roller coaster ride through a deep, dark outer space adventure. Cedar Point guests turn head over heels for the corkscrew. This thriller was the first coaster in the world to turn riders upside down 3 times. The Cedar Creek Mine Ride takes you on a trip that simulates an out-of-control mine train. tight turns and steep drops don't even give you time to be scared. And the 6-mile-per-hour Junior Gemini is a training coaster for kids too young to take advantage of the real thing. But the thrills don't end on Cedar Point's roller coasters. For sheer free-falling scariness, many people vote for the Demon Drop. This skeletal tower looms 13 stories above the midway. You're taken to the top, then hurtled downward more than 60 feet in less than 2 seconds. Now that's a thrill ride. If spinning around upside down is what you're looking for, the Witch's Wheel is the place to go. This ride starts off innocently enough, but before long the sky and ground run together in a blur as the wheel rises and turns you over and over again.
You're watching Sleepcore, media for insomnia.
How many are you taking? You only need 2. 5?
Shaving cream. What is the shaving cream for? Why? What are you doing? Are you going to shave? What are you going to do?
1929. I went to camp for 2 weeks with a pair of dungarees cut off, a pair of moccasins, a few T-shirts.
I hated it. I was just desperately homesick, and I would call home every day and beg and beg and beg. And they kept saying, oh, she'll adjust, she'll adjust, she'll adjust. But I never did for 6 weeks.
The camera, the film, the raincoat. What about boots? What if your feet? Don't want to take my boots?
I haven't been there before, and I'm worried about if I'm going to meet new friends or if people are going to like me, if I'm going to get confused. But mainly, my friends have said it's just a whole lot of fun.
I was an immigrant child. We'd come over just before World War II. And my mother decided to Americanize me. My first year was 1948, and I was 11 years old. I loved it.
Look, dirty clothes. Okay, make sure that your dirty clothes end up in here, not the clean clothes.
I first went to camp when I was around 6 and a half. I just wanted something to do during the summer.
Once you've gone to sleepaway camp and once you've worked at a camp, it never leaves you. It's in your blood. You can't explain it, but it's in there forever.
Take your car into the athletic field there, past the cones right here.
She wants to give me a hug.
So he has ranch camp, right?
Stephanie. I squirted my dog with a hose and I was chasing him around. And I slipped on the water on the tile and I hit my head on the cord.
Ouch. And he went to the hospital last night and had 15 stitches.
15, huh?
16. You gotta open your present. If you don't like it, I'm keeping it. Okay?
You're in cabin number
Justin, welcome back.
21, okay, and with David, who's with you, right? You guys requested each other. Matt Block's your counselor, okay?
Indoor plumbing, showers, hot and cold running water, spring beds, mattresses. It's a hotel now.
When you first arrive at camp, you have to discover who your friends are, who you can get along with, who you don't get along with.
Jordan, can I just get it organized, please? Fine, you guys.
That's what mothers do.
It's from
Jennifer.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
thank
you.
Okay.
Shaving cream. Just put it away, Matt. We'll get it. Don't let Matt see that. Oh, that must be the girl up there.
I'm waiter. I gotta be waiter.
She and my father were on the verge of splitting up, and she thought it'd be good for me to get away for the summer and be away from their problems.
Oh, Kevin? Hint.
Well, that was today. Tomorrow they do a little
The very first thing that we learned today, as this one big happy family that we are, what happens when the hand goes up? Thank you. So we're going to meet now and give you an idea of what to expect, help you along to know what to do, some rules, and you will meet our beloved unit leaders. Now, before dinner, you're going to get forms like this. Some of the stuff that we have is archery, tennis, basketball, arts and crafts, gymnastics and dance, windsurfing and sailing. Now listen, swim testing is until tomorrow. So if you sign up for that and you have no idea your swim level, that's not a good thing. Once you fill this out, that's it. You will have your little schedule and your counselor will hang it up on your bulletin board and you'll follow that for 5 days.
I can't even conceive of camp as being camp anymore. They have girls and boys in the same camp. They have shows and dances and a bunch of mishmash.
Everybody does not have to be an athlete to go to camp. And they do eventually get involved.
Okay. Jordan Nice, come on in. We're having auditions for the camp play. It's probably one of the biggest programs that we have this session. We're doing a funny thing happened on the way to the forum. Don't worry about character or anything. Just read it as you would talk it to another person.
Erroneous went aboard in search of his children, stolen by infancy.
Stolen in infancy by pirates.
My country is a big sweet land of
Oh, I guess we had all kinds of rules, and I guess we broke a lot of them.
I would skip my classes, you know, I would go hide behind a cabin. I'm sure I smoked cigarettes.
While the ice cream freezer had a 2x4 board on top of it with a padlock so that nobody could get in, there was absolutely no problem taking the whole freezer and sliding it out.
Setting the alarm clock, like at 5 o'clock in the morning, and you would sneak over to, you know, to the boys' camp.
Don't give me that. Yo, what are you doing, man? Yo, dude. Oh,
Bad time to sneak out.
You're watching Sleepcore. Sleep tight.
right here. Want some drink, Ken?
No, thanks. Can I buy him?
You gonna take care of him?
Yeah.
You got money?
Yeah, $10.
Well, hi, did you come back to the big sale?
We'll put it in the,
Oh, we're here right now.
Don't rent those, Bernie. Those are the binoculars.
You know what?
After I charge these kids rent. What's this? What are you buying? What are you buying? What? Huh? Why are you looking at binoculars? Those are for adults. You know what happens? You drop.
What do you got? Everything written down on what else? Because I got to pay you, Sean.